Okay, so we're going to talk about a topic here today that is a bit polarizing in the tattoo community. The idea of AI tattoos, and I rounded up quite a few here that some of them look more realistic than others. Some of them look more doable than others. Some of them are outright out to lunch, right? So the problem with these all the time is we'll get them sent in by clients here. One of them just recently wreaked havoc in the shop of things that are completely unreasonable and completely undoable if people they just want them because they've seen them, or some people will even commission artists to do these, and they're just literally just generating them in like ChatGPT and shit like this. I've seen people get conned out of money over these things where they'll pay artists to create these for them and then take them to actual tattooer, and it's like, let me break it to you, a lot of this is not doable.
I've had quite a few actually. They aren't necessarily AI, but I've had quite a few clients bring pieces that they paid for.
Yeah, it's one of the craziest things.
I'm like, you could have showed me something like this, and you just have to pay me, and I would have drawn you just as good of an image.
Well, I mean, you
right?
just bring it in and do the consult, and you come up with a design, right?
Yeah, we didn't have to pay for the rights to that image. Like I'm an artist too.
It's pretty crazy. Like, actually, I worked with a company, like, that they would make like mock-up sleeves for me, right? Mm-hmm. And those weren't to sell those sleeves. That was just to show the public, like,
just for funsies,
what we could do potentially for you, right? And I just always thought it was just such an insane idea. Like, some people, they just want a tattoo and they don't have any like ideas of their own, right? Like, I have people who ask me all the time, Remy, how do you keep coming up with ideas for tattoos? It's like, dude, I have enough ideas for another 20 bodysuits.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'll ever get there.
You got some gears always turning.
Well, I just don't understand how you don't. Like, I don't understand the idea of, like, I have no idea what to get, but I want something.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I understand that tattoos are, they're addictive for their own reasons, right? Like, it's like, more or less, most people who are getting a tattoo, usually they're just justifying wanting one with some picture. Like, how many times we have people walk in here and they're like, we had one this morning. I want a tattoo, but I don't know what.
Yes.
I'm going to come in Friday and get a tattoo. I don't know what I want.
Right, yeah.
It's like,
that was such a strange one. Came, looked at the flash books, didn't really look at the flash books, just like quickly flipped through them.
But like, that happens so often. And then people will come up with, so what they'll do is they'll be like, oh, my such and such passed away, and this thing means something to, and it's just like, it's some justification to have catharsis, like pain that in some way is healing for some reason, right? It's like, I think people do this when they're going through mental stress, and it's easier to deal with physical stress than mental stress, and it kind of gives them a break from reality and all this. And I appreciate that. I just wish people didn't think they needed these justifications. They should just be honest with themselves and be like, I want a tattoo.
Right.
Because that's its own thing, right? And anyway, some of these will be up here, but I just wanted to talk about the doability of some of these. And this one here is in some way doable, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a thing that you could potentially do. Although, if you were to do something like this, if you close up on it and you see how detailed it is, and some of these tones, like the color blends are almost unreal, right? Like, to do this, it would never be this smooth. But this is one of the better ones. This is one of the ones that, like,
this is more passable.
That skull is pretty fucking small, right? I would make the skull bigger.
But I think, like, as long as the artist is, like, really honest about what's doable and that the client is open-minded. The recent one that I can think of, golf sleeve.
Yeah, that was a fucking nightmare.
The client brought in a design that absolutely made no sense. There was, like, putters and shit everywhere, and, like, straight lines that would have, like, when you put them on an arm, they would have curved funny and they wouldn't have looked like golf clubs. And
yeah, this one has some of that too. You see that in the different parts of his chest and clavicles.
Yeah.
Where it's like that wouldn't work that way.
Yeah, it would curve. And you know, that particular client didn't want to listen to our artist. You know, they tried to draw up several versions that would work. And they
want what they want.
They were just super sold on this.
They become like petulant children when they can't have it. And
yeah.
This is the one industry where unfortunately the customer is almost always wrong, and then you have to come up with a way to explain this to them. Yeah. This, for example.
Oh, there's too much happening.
Well, look
gorgeous.
At the fucking
it's just
shape.
Like, there's just too much happening.
Where are the wings gonna go?
Over the shoulders, I guess.
Yeah, but like, it just doesn't work this way.
Yeah.
Like, look at the insanity that's happening here.
I mean, I think that you could do a version of this. Like, if someone brought this to me and I was at this level, I think that I could do a version of it.
You know how long this would take to do, though?
Oh, forever.
Like, people are expecting to come in and get this in a session.
No, on the
they really
chest,
are.
They're crazy.
No, anywhere. This is insane to ask for this in one session. And that's what... These things, people see them, and then they're just like, oh, I can just go buy one of those. Mm-hmm. Right? It's fucking corrosive as fuck these things are out there like this.
It is.
Because it doesn't... Like, it doesn't speak any of the story of how we got here, you know? Also, I would never place it this way either. I would have placed it so that it was higher up and rode the clavicles and went up onto the neck a little bit more.
Agreed.
Also, like the head needed to be more contrasted and bigger.
Yeah.
Because it just gets lost in all this insanity that's happening.
Yeah, there's too much.
Some of these colors could not be done this way either.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of insane things going on in there. But it gets worse, right? So we have this one, this angel presiding over this group of children or whatever, people. That is not doable in any way.
No.
The tones that they have in here, like the light source that they've created and all this, is not tattooable at all.
I think like you could take inspiration.
You could take inspiration from
this.
But the problem is...
This isn't like, no one's tattooing it like
you
this.
see this 23,000 likes? 20,000 of those likes came from people who think that's a real tattoo.
That's crazy.
Like, they think, if you check the comments on these, have you ever clicked the comments on these things?
No.
Almost everyone thinks this is a tattoo.
No, I mean, but like,
amazing talent. That's not a fucking tattoo, you moron.
Our sister shop, there's a few artists that they'll use AI for like references and stuff like that. But like, when they're using AI, it's for black and gray realism, and it's like...
Look at the details.
It's like...
fucking good luck.
It's realistic, right? Like, they know, and they're really curating what they're using. This is just craziness.
Look at the shape and texture of this wing.
Well, it's not realistic.
If you were to try and do that, if you were to try and create those textures, it would be so fucking blurry and unreadable.
And that top plumage on that wing looks like the stuff I pulled out of our vacuum the other day.
Yeah, it does. But like, I'm telling you, if you were to go to do that, you would do this wing in like an 8-hour session. Yeah. Like, that would be, and also it would not read that clear. No. Because the skin can only bear so much.
But again,
before it becomes unreadable.
There's a version of this.
Oh, sure.
That is possible. A version of it, like, you'd have to really simplify.
Same thing for this dragon here. These tones are not really doable the way they have them, but you could do a version of this one, right? This is better than the last one. This looks more realistic than that last one. That last one might be one of the worst ones. Yeah. But like, it's still pretty crazy. And again, we can just continue like this, right? Like, it's all just stuff that's doable in some way, but not like the person bringing it in, like, hopefully they understand, and some people don't. They want it to be just like this. Well, where did his nipple go? Oh, yeah, you would see it, you know? Yeah. And so these just create these unrealistic expectations that are pretty well impossible to reproduce in skin. Yeah. So I kind of hate these things. And, well, I think that it's only a problem because, like, it would be fine and well if everyone understood this, right? But most people who are just passing by tattoos do not understand these things. and they will just not appreciate why this is like, they want this thing and then they get the real one and it's not as good.
Right.
And then they're upset at the artist for not being able to produce this.
I mean, I would love for technology to get to the point where we could do this vivid of coloring, but I just like
Well, these tones don't exist in the skin this way.
Yeah.
Like this, like.
Well, this is sitting on top of the skin is part of the problem here too.
Yeah, we basically paint this on to get this result. Like you could paint this on someone and it would show like this, or maybe when it's fresh you could do something. But like it's coming through your skin tone, right? So it's filtering down. Mm-hmm. Even if you have the palest skin, it's never going to look this deliberate and this vivid. It's just not, and sharp, right? Like in focus.
Yeah, and like AI just doesn't seem to be taking into account like the warping and like stuff that the body does. Like on these feathers, they're still really straight at the top,
And the
where
bottom,
they should be like
it should curve around that.
They should be curving around the body there.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I think that's like part of the beauty of tattoos is that they do this. Oh man, this one's crazy.
Yeah, this one's really funny. Just like, oh man. Can you imagine laying this out on someone?
Pecs and pecs.
Yeah. Can you imagine like the
Here's
little
my
body.
big pecs. Here's
Just
my baby
how
pecs.
defined in there. All of that stuff in there is insane. All of those intricate knot works or whatever the fuck you want to
It's
call
like
them.
some sort of weird tribal.
It doesn't even look like skin.
No.
This looks like it was airbrushed on someone. And like I don't even like this either. Like this this one I don't even like, but
No.
it's just so unrealistic. But again, 8,600 likes. And most of them are from people who think this is real.
Jeez.
I also think, like, if this was a tattoo, like, what a weird way to leave the guy's upper, like, clavicle neck area. Like, what a weird shape.
Yeah.
Like, if they did all this, you'd think they could shade off of that or something.
I don't know.
Like, that is such a funny shape of the
It
body.
is a very bizarre shape. I was thinking that too.
It looks like he's wearing a weird bra or something.
Like, well, that's like the pecs and then the pecs. Like his pecs are defined, and then he's got this like drawn on pecs underneath. I don't know. And then there's like the six pack is almost where like the top of his six pack
gave him a really
is.
weird
Like, it's really
shaped
bizarre.
torso.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like he's like skinny man.
This is where it's like AI it's not quite where it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like we do this in 5-10 years and they look so much better than they do now, but right now they're just a little weird because no one thinking about it would ever place it this way.
Right. And I also, as I said, I think there is a right way to use AI, especially in black and gray realism for references. I think you're really limited to references, and if AI can help,
Yeah.
so that we're not all using the same bear reference.
This one is better, but it's still a little funny looking.
But like the way that the tattoo quote unquote is making his like six pack area look is just wrong. And
You know
the other
what
thing is these aren't real human beings either. This
No,
is
of
an
course
AI
not.
generated
But-
person too.
Like what's offensive to me is, and people, again, they won't know this, but like these things get more likes than real tattoos. Like these trend harder than real tattoos. People will tell you they don't like AI and they're not a fan of what AI is doing, but they are, right? Like they like this more than the real
Oh
thing.
yeah, I don't know how often. Like I bet you in our day-to-day lives, we're probably thinking that we're clicking on something real, and it's more
Well,
likely AI than it is.
15,700 likes for this.
Yep.
This thing that took zero effort to produce at the click of a generation of AI.
Well,
It's like
it's compiling hundreds of sources,
And then
different artists' work.
you see somebody do this, like Rick has done things like this and gotten like 40 likes. Like, and they, I think, actually look a little bit better. But like this one is flashier, right? Because they have all this unrealistic contrast and
Wow.
like
and the
bright
the
negative.
The guy is built like a fucking Greek statue.
It's just, yeah, you're never going to see this on the guy who actually comes in here.
Yeah.
Who kind of looks like a trucker, right? That's usually who's, like, it's usually not Adonises that you're tattooing every day.
No.
And every single reference, it's this fucking guy with a perfect body.
Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous. And then, yeah, these things, they just don't work this way. Like, this looks like it's sitting on top of him or in front of him.
Right.
It's got no curvature to it. And it's so fucking
busy. Like your lines would just blurb
look at the
together
intricacy in here.
Yeah. And
Imagine.
things don't make sense. This is another thing that bothers me about these like kind of clockworky AI. It's like things stop making sense. Like it's like, why is there this
way
shape
too much
here?
information.
Yeah.
It's way too much information. You would if you were to bring this to me, it would be like it has to be simplified.
Yeah.
How much is too much? Like it's like a visual assault.
Yeah.
And
I like if a client brought this to me, I'd say, what about this do you like? Like what is your favorite part? And
you
let's
find the
work
vibe of
with
it.
that.
Do we really need all these little fucking lines in here, for example?
Right.
It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's just like, oh, these things, they piss me off more than I can really express, because they're wreaking havoc, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks this, but it's nuts to me how many people think these are real, because they don't look anything close to real for me. But I mean, again, not everybody's looking at tattoos every day, right? So
Yeah.